Every Viking in Asgard liked Christmas a lot, but Loki, who lived in Valhalla, did not. Loki hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be that his helmet was wedged on too tight, because his ego swelled his head up at night. But whatever the reason, his helmet or head, Loki stood there on Christmas Eve, wishing Christmas was dead. Staring down from his tower with a sour Loki frown at the warm lighted windows below in the town. For he knew every Viking in Asgard beneath was probably hanging with Thor and his big smiley teeth. "And it'll be even worse by tomorrow," he sneered. "For tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here." Then Loki growled, his fingers nervously drumming. "I must find a way to keep Christmas from coming." But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. Loki got a wonderful, awful idea. "I know just what to do," Loki laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked, "What a great Loki trick! With this hat and this coat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. Only sexier. All I need is a reindeer." Loki looked hither and thither. So he called his pet Sparkle, and took some red thread, and he tied a big bow to the top of his head. "This is stop number 1, the old Loki Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney as easy as that, and was glad that he did not have Santa's fat. Then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present, battle-axes, new shields, war-drumming kits, and some edible treats, like tasty lutefisk. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney in a clamor. "And now," laughed the Loki, "I will stuff up Thor's hammer." Then Loki grabbed the hammer, and he started to shove, when he heard a low rumble, like thunder above. He turned around fast, and he saw a small who, little Cindy Thor who was not more than 2,000. Loki had been caught by the little Asgardian heir, who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold beer. He stared at Loki and said, "Why, Santa, why? Why are you taking my hammer? Why?" But you know that old Loki was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a dent on this hammer, right here on the side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there. Then I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted Thor's head, and he got him a drink, and he sent him to bed. And when Cindy Thor who went to bed with his cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the hammer up. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. Then he took all the presents from the other Viking keeps, and piled them high on his mountain in heaps. "Pooh-pooh, Viking who's," he was lokishly humming. "They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Viking who's down there in Asgard will all cry, 'Boo-hoo!' That's a noise," laughed Loki, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and Loki put a hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Very. He stared down at Asgard. Loki popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Viking in Asgard, the tall and the less tall, was singing, without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And Loki stood puzzling. How could it be so? It came without axes. It came without swords. It came without longships with shiny new oars. And he puzzled 3 hours, till he was sore in the brain. Then Loki thought of something that made him afraid. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a raid. Maybe Christmas just can't be rained on like parades. And what happened then? Well, in Asgard, they say, that Loki's huge ego shrank 3 sizes that day. And the minute his helmet didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the weapons and the food for the feast. For if I do, Loki thought, they won't mind in the least. But the Viking Who's did not feel like granting boons. What? Did you think this was some kind of cartoon? They said, "What's going on? Why, is that all our stuff?" It seemed Loki had not thought it through quite enough. For the reason the Viking Who sang out so strong was because they had not noticed anything wrong. And checking their houses, they witnessed the state of their cupboards so bare nothing left but the plates. And they turned toward Loki, anger gleamed in their eyes. Lucky for Loki, he was still good with his lies.
"Why, some small evil elves came as thieves in the night. They used sleeping potion to make you all sleep tight. But I, always vigilant, found out their plot, followed them to their hideout, and I kicked their butts."
"But wait," cried a voice. It was Cindy Thor who. "I saw you last night. I knew it was you. You took my hammer without so much as a pause. You're the one who took all our gifts without cause." But Loki was quicker than Cindy Thor still, and could still squirm away from this pinch, if you will.
"Why, I did not want to embarrass you, brother dear, for without me, what would have happened here? The elves took his hammer while he was asleep, and without it he found himself helpless as sheep. They knocked him out cold and started robbing anew. 'Twas left to me to retrieve the hammer. Mew mew. But fear not, dear brother, for I have it here."
And as Thor took his hammer, he turned red in the ears. For everyone laughed at him. Boy, he felt lonely. It was apparent the Viking Who's had bought Loki's baloney. When they sat down to feast, Cindy Thor Who was steamed, because Loki got to carve the roast beast, and just gleamed. The lesson learned here should come through in a cinch, for the lesson is, Loki's a big, fat, lying Grinch.
And don't you love me for it?